Welcome to Town Talk on News Talk 1230 WFVA. Over the next hour, you'll be introduced to business and local leaders impacting our community. Text your comments or questions directly to the studio at 540-371-5756. Now, the host of Town Talk, Ted Schubel.
Rappahannock Education Farm, our focus this morning. It seems like we have talked about this before, but we have not on this show. We have given much information over the years, over the last year or so on Facebook. But in studio, Rich La Rochelle is here, January, and Barb also here from Rappahannock Education Farm. Rich, it's so good to have you here to finally do a radio show on this.
Ted, I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much. And we really appreciate that you've been out at the farm. Barb and I were talking maybe every week, maybe twice a week at times.
So. Yeah.
And really chronicling our progress. And your photos you do are fantastic. I think they capture the spirit and the enthusiasm of the volunteers.
It is a great story because you have been involved over the years, as long as I have known you, with concerns just about the food supply in the area. Mm-hmm. And I first met you with the food co-op. I met you with farmers that you brought in to get the food co-op going. And then there was the work with Downtown Greens and them adding green space. And then out of the blue, all of a sudden I saw last summer on your Facebook page where a Rappahannock Education Farm was taking place. How did this idea all come about?
Well, back in 2022, the food bank had a Hunger Action Coalition, which they still have. I was part of that because of my role at the food co-op, and it kind of opened my eyes and the eyes of a lot of people, I think, to the extent to which we have hunger and food insecurity in our area. So it's about 9%, a little more than 9% of our population. In Planning District 16, which is like the city of Fredericksburg and Stafford and Spotsy and surrounding counties, it's about 38,000 people. And I just saw recent numbers that Dan Meyer, the head of the food bank, shared at our board meeting on Friday. It's over 40,000 people that are food insecure, meaning they don't know where the next meal is going to come from, and at times they lack enough nutrition to carry on the ordinary activities of daily life. Among kids, it's 11%. That's kind of the part of it that bothers me the most, that in our community, where we live, our neighbors don't have enough food. And it's crazy, it's unfortunate. And so we started thinking about, what can we do about it? I worked with a group at UMW. Leslie Martin is a professor, and her students did a survey of community farms around the country. And these are nonprofit farms that grow food and donate it. And so we learned a lot by that. We got inspired. And then early in 2023, a group of us formed the nonprofit Rappahannock Education Farm. We spent most of 2023 looking for land, visiting other farms. There are 3 other nonprofit farms in Virginia. Visited them, got to know the people, got inspired by them. And then early in 2024, we started a garden at the food bank on Lee Hill Drive. And then we were lucky enough in June to purchase our first 9 acres. So we kind of our idea is very simple. We can't do everything, but we can grow food and donate it. So that's what we're doing.
And it's fresh food that you can
donate. It's very fresh food. It's very nutritious food. So we're just growing vegetables. The food bank gives us a list of the food that they want, and we just grow to that list. So tomatoes, potatoes, cucumbers, squash, green beans, beets, onions, cabbage, all of those kinds of things, kind of the more common things, not very exotic.
It's been amazing. We'll talk about it, just how you rotate things and just how the farm is growing. January, you're on the board. How did you get involved with Rappahannock Education Farm?
I laugh because I met Rich. I don't even remember anymore, honestly. I'll say it like this. My mother was going down to Downtown Greens and ironically was picking weeds, and it became her happy place.
Yeah.
And Rich and I started working together. I'm also a real estate broker, and my franchise was doing dollar for dollar matching with incentives with Rich at the co-op. So we had did like maybe about 3 or 4 events together. Save the Last Farm. We did like I think like what was the other one with the groceries? Well, something and
Food for all.
Yes, Food for All. So we did a couple of things together, and then we started looking for land. That's what made me laugh. He came to me, and it was like, I guess it was the first 8 of us or so.
Yes.
And we were like, we're going to go look for this land.
Yeah.
So Richard called us up, and we would be like, let's go. So it has been an interesting couple of years, and to actually see it into fruition now, from us just sitting in a room together saying, hey,
Oh, I bet.
we're going to do this, to actually even going to Lee Hill and breaking ground, to now looking at what we have here is just amazing.
I go back to just going over to the food bank and just seeing that little plot of land be developed. For you to go from talking about it, in a room to now out there planting and weeding and harvesting.
I remember when I would post on Facebook, like, I would say, we're building a farm. And I would get all these crazy comments. January, how are you building a farm? You don't build a farm. And I'm like, but we do, though. I'm like, these soil tests, us planning where the water, where the irrigation, how are we going to make sure that if we pick this plot versus this plot, what would be the outcome for the community? Having emergency board meetings just to kind of figure out, like, is this advantageous for the farm?
Yeah. Barb, how'd you get involved?
I'm retired, so I have spare time. And I just happened to be flipping, I think it was through Facebook. Actually, no, I correct that. I was teaching a yoga class, and a young lady had mentioned to me, have you heard about the Rappahannock Education Farm? I'm like, what? I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
And so she told me a little bit about it, and I got on Facebook and pulled it up, and lo and behold, there it was. And it was when they had just started last year. So I was like, oh, this is what, this will be great, because I have a little garden at my house. And I said, but this will be wonderful for me to learn, and also I can give back, because what better way to serve the community than to feed the community?
Yeah.
And especially when I heard how many people in this community don't have fresh food, don't have an outlet to get fresh food. So I think it's just wonderful what these guys are doing. It's been fantastic.
You and I probably must have discovered it right about the same time and saw it it was that Facebook posting.
Yeah.
And it just caught my attention to what a great opportunity for everyone at all levels to get involved.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and there's everybody. We have volunteers who, like you have Rich, who does pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And he volunteers. I mean, all at January, everybody from the board all the way down to the harvesters are volunteers.
Yeah.
Any sort of public relations we need, people go out in the community and talk and get the word out. I mean, you're a great advocate. And you do it for free, so...
It's a great story, and that's why I've been so excited to finally get you guys in here, and we'll do this much more. RappahannockFarm.org, the website, or you can email them, RappahannockEducationFarm@gmail.com. More coming up. We'll take a quick break and return on News Talk 1230 WFVA.
This is Town Talk on News Talk 1230 WFVA. Download the all-new News Talk 1230 WFVA app for Apple and Android. Text your comments or questions directly to the studio at 540-371-5756. And now, here's your host, Ted Schubel.
It is a Rappahannock Education Farm this morning, RappahannockFarm.org, or you can email them, RappahannockEducationFarm@gmail.com. Rich LaRochelle is here. Barb and January also here. They are also, January's on the board. Barb is a great volunteer. Barb, you've done at least one video explaining, was it how to plant or harvest kale?
I think it was how to harvest kale. Yeah, Rich just threw that on me. I think it was my first time or second time ever harvesting kale, and Rich says, hey, Barb, let's do a video. Okay, let's do a video.
You did a great job.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. But it's because, you have good teachers. You have a lot of folks there who are involved with the farm who already know this stuff. Mm-hmm. So for those of us who don't know, it's great to have those mentors to help us out through it.
It is interesting how people can go, I think, Rich, and they learn. They're helping the education farm, and then they can go home and do this same thing. So you're not only helping the community, you're gaining some knowledge about how and where and how to plant things.
Yes, I mean, definitely. So the education we're really doing now is really kind of the hands-on education that you're talking about. But people learn things at the farm and they go home and, they implement them. A lot of people come to the farm because they want to learn what to do in their own backyard. I was talking to a young volunteer who's been coming out about the last month. And I said, if I had only one thing I could plant, it would be tomatoes. What would it be for you? And he said, it would be potatoes. Because he's been very active with the potatoes.
Yeah.
And I've had other volunteers who have said, I've never planted potatoes before because we have 3 big fields of potatoes and they're planting them at home. Some of them are planting them in containers. So yeah, it's really gratifying to see people, taking what they learn and then kind of, implementing it. I'll tell you one other little story. We had last year when we were planting the kale, there was a little boy, he was about 5 years old, and he was having a hard time figuring out how to do it. And Juliana, one of our great volunteers, patiently showed him how. And then he learned, and you could see his eyes light up, and he did a great job. And then he came to me at the end of the day, and he said, the last 2 weeks, I've been at 3 birthday parties. This was more fun.
Wow.
That kind of made my whole day.
Yeah.
So we have those kinds of experiences with kids and adults.
All ages, too, come out.
Yes.
And a lot of times, January, you were talking about, family members
Yes.
coming out. And it's just the whole atmosphere.
I love it. To be able to know that you're doing something, and I don't know what it was. I was just standing at the farm, and I'm like, wait, I have 4 generations of family right here, from my mom to my grandchild, and the 2-year-old is out there, and she's planting her beans. And it's amazing. My daughter has bubbles over to the side. The Girl Scouts and my daughter we're supposed to be gardening now. I get it. But they're having a moment, and they're bonding, and so it's fun, It's not even just the family camaraderie, it's the community camaraderie because everybody's there.
Rich, you've set some goals,
Yes.
and that's the other thing. You've got the land, and we'll talk about a lot of great things for the land, but. As far as goals go, you have goals
We do.
set to where you would like to be able to donate certain pounds of food each year.
We do. So according to the food bank, this area has a gap of fresh food access of about 200,000 pounds, meaning people who use food bank services are not able to get access to fresh food in the amount of 200,000 pounds that they would want. And that's only people that want that. Not everyone might want it. We think when we're fully up and running, we can grow and donate 100,000 pounds each year. But it's going to take us time to get there. So for this year, our goal is 25,000 pounds. Last year, we grew and donated just under 4,000 pounds. This year, so far, we're at about 4,200 pounds. So more than 2 tons, but we have a ways to go till we hit 25,000 pounds. We don't know if we're going to hit it. We do the best we can.
Right. And the weather plays a part in it.
The weather plays a part. Insects play a part. Wildlife, all kinds of things. But we're giving it the good college try.
Yeah. No. Well, just the just to have the goal, and like you say, and you're doing a lot of experimenting too. And in future years, you'll be able to know about things. And I keep looking at the goal and thinking, you've still got more potatoes in the field.
We do.
The potatoes will really help.
Yeah, potatoes will really help. So with the potatoes, you talked about trial and error. So we planted 3 fields of potatoes, and the traditional approach is you dig a trench 6 to 8 inches deep, and you put the potatoes in them. And we did that for 2 fields. We had more potatoes than we thought we would need, and so we had an additional field all prepared that was prepared in mounds. And we said, well, let's just put the potatoes in there, even though that's not the traditional approach. They've done by far the best in that field.
Again, there's the education part of it.
Yeah. And the reason for that is we've got a lot of clay in our soil, and when it rains a lot, the rain just sits there. The water just sits there. It's not good for the potatoes.
Okay.
On the mounds, we don't have that problem. So next year, we'll redirect the way we plant, so the drainage is better, and we'll probably plant all the potatoes in mounds. So it's a trial and error kind of thing. That will increase our yield by a lot.
Boy, and I've noticed with the harvesting of potatoes, that's a lot of work.
There's a lot of work.
It's a lot. I was out there
It
middle of last week, and this poor family was out there, and it was hot and humid, and I just felt sorry for them.
Well, but there was a young couple, maybe they were in their 30s, and they really worked hard. It was the first time they came out. And at the end of the day, I was kind of feeling sorry for them. And I said, how did it go today? They were beaming from ear to ear, smiling, sweating. And they said, this was a fantastic day. And we're definitely going to be back. And this was so meaningful and so important that we did this. So, I'll just say.
You do feel like that, though.
Yeah.
I think no matter how difficult or what you're doing, even if you're pulling weeds, it's something that's needed.
I'll tell you, when we did Lee Hill, I will never forget. My natural nails are long. For I think like 3 months, cut my nails short and would not wear my nails long because I had so much dirt impacted in my fingers. My job that day was when we were pulling up the sod. There was, what was that stuff, Rich?
It was the fabric,
The fabric and
landscaping
everything.
Fabric.
The landscaping fabric, but underneath of there, something kept getting into the tiller.
Yeah.
And it would just be, so happened to be my job to go through and rake and pull all of the sod and the fabric apart, and we were pulling it all out, and I was like, Rich, I quit wearing long nails.
How about that?
It's like when your lifestyle choices make you say, I don't want to do that anymore.
That's how important this is.
Yes, and it really is that important. And it was so funny because, like, just my fingertips were like, don't you ever do that again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always fun to come out because I think the best part for me has been, I knew how to do some things. Collards, kales, they're usually your traditional things that you always see. But then when you're looking and you start off, Rich took a picture of me last year at the farm. I'm leaned over. I don't know. He's taking a candid shot, and I'm touching like it's a butterfly right there, right? And I look around at the farm this year, and I'm like, hey, Rich, you can't even see where we took that picture anymore because now it's actually our farm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Barb, you mentioned just seeing this and all this and just immediately knowing, this is a way to help the community. That's the great thing I think about this. It's so easy.
Oh, yeah.
And you can get involved in what level you can and really know that you're making a difference, no matter what you're doing out there.
Absolutely, and it's for all ages. Like Rich in January said, she has 4 generations out there.
Yeah.
And the older people I come in contact with, they say, I want to help, but I can't help. I have a bad arthritis. I can't bend down. I said, can you hand out a bottle of water? You can sit in the shade and hand water out to people.
Right.
You can just talk to people, have them sign in, find out a little bit about them. Just that community. Even if you feel like I can't do the physical labor part, you can just show up and be there. Enjoy the space, enjoy the community, enjoy the people. And, like Rich in January said, there's families that come out, and that's wonderful. So now you have all these generations learning that it's good to give back to somebody else, because we're not taking that food home.
Right.
It's going to other people who don't have that food. So they learn that. So yeah, it's wonderful.
Go ahead.
I was going to say one of the things I think was the coolest that I learned was the marigolds. I never knew that a part of planting the marigolds were to keep animals away. You would think, okay, the marigolds are just pretty.
Yep.
That answers the question I had. I didn't know what those were there for. I thought they were there just because they were pretty.
Yeah, no, well, the marigolds keep certain insects away from tomatoes, so they're good companion plants for tomatoes. So I've been planting marigolds and tomatoes together for years, and they're a good example of that kind of companion planting. We need to do more of that kind of thing, but that was, at least we did that.
Because I've seen that and I thought, what's the purpose of these?
Yeah.
And then I just figured, well, I guess it adds some color to everything.
Nope. It's a purpose. Like you said, the education.
Yeah.
Because
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was going to say we also did native flowers so that we can keep the bees around.
Yeah.
But the marigolds are there for the tomatoes. So the different flowers have different purposes. So it's not just about veggies.
Yeah, we all learn.
Yeah,
We all learn.
And the marigolds, talking about community, like Barb was saying, with the marigolds and the zinnias, I got the seeds for those and gave them to one of our volunteers, Nathan Seconder, who's a middle school teacher at Gale Elementary in Stafford. He teaches his class about gardening and ecology, and so they turn those seeds into seedlings, and that's what we planted. So when you see those zinnias or the marigolds at the farm, those came from Gale Middle School.
The farm itself, you're in White Oak.
Yes.
And it's a great piece of land that you keep adding fields to it, and it continues to flourish, and you've got all kinds of plans that we'll talk about in just a second. And again, Rappahannockfarm.org, a great website that will give you information, because we've talked about just the volunteering aspect of this, but also if there's a financial aspect, if there are people that can give financially, that's needed too. Definitely.
If you go to our website, rappahannockfarm.org, there's a donate button. We don't sell anything. Everything we grow, we donate to the food bank or food pantries to reduce hunger. So we're really funded by grants and donations. We value donations that are small or large. We appreciate all of them. We have expenses that we have to cover. We did take out a $200,000 loan to purchase the 9 acres initially. We have to pay that loan back. We're in the process of doing that. We need a tractor. We need, continual supply of seeds and soil amendments and things of that nature. So we don't have any employees. Eventually, we might have to hire someone, but donations are always appreciated.
Quick break. We're going to come back and continue to talk about this. Rappahannockfarm.org, again, the website, or if you want to email just about volunteering information or just information in general, rappahannock@gmail.com. Barb, January, Rich here this morning from Rappahannock Education Farm. More on News Talk 1230 WFVA. It's 8:30.
From the Fredericksburg.Today online news studios, this is News Talk 1230 WFVA, Fredericksburg, a centennial broadcasting station focused on Fredericksburg. Welcome back to Town Talk on News Talk 1230. You can weigh in about today's topic on Facebook at WFVA 1230 and by text at 540-371-5756. Here's your host, Ted Schubel.
Good stuff this morning. Rappahannock Education Farm with Rich, Barb, and January. Rappahannockfarm.org for more information on how to get involved. Rich, we talk about, we've all of us have talked about just the number of volunteers and how it amazes me. No matter what the weather, there have been times after it rained, I thought, well, there's not going to be many volunteers, and people are out there and slogging around and doing the work. But again, there's always room for more, and it really struck me the other day, just with the weeding that has to be done.
Yes.
The more hands that can be there,
Yes.
the better and the more you'll be able to do.
Yeah, for sure. We really value the volunteers. We're an all-volunteer organization. Many hands make light work, as the old saying. It's very true. And we don't have a lot of machinery. We have a couple of old tractors. We have some rototillers. Everything we do is pretty much done by hand, so we need hands.
Yeah.
So people of all ages are welcome. If you want to volunteer, you can go to our website, rappahannockfarm.org. There's a drop-down volunteer piece. You fill it in. It gets emailed into us. We add you to a volunteer list. We have over 400 people now on that list. Every week we send an email out, and then people can participate as their schedule permits. You can come for as long or as short a time period. We typically schedule the volunteer hours for 3 hours, like 8 to 11. Mm-hmm. But people can come out for half an hour. They can come out for any period of time they want. We just would rather have people come out, not get burnt out, and just keep coming back. So have some fun with it.
And it is fun. That's
Yeah.
that's I can't emphasize that enough of
Yeah.
just how in January you've talked about it about just how much fun your family and how much fun you've had.
Oh yes, I think there's a twofold. It's peaceful. It's serene. You're in it's a happy place to be. You know, there's always a smile greeting you. There's always someone that can teach you something. You know, so it's not even a thing like you say, hey, I want to go volunteer, but I don't know what to do. Well, the fun thing is about the farm is that someone will teach you. You know, I would say that when I first went out, you know, I was like, well, I can do this and I could do this. But then the next thing I know, I'm working equipment that I've never tried before. Or, you know, or like when I went with my daughter and my daughter's 28 and my daughter's like, Mom, I want to go again. And she goes home and she tells her boyfriend and she's like, you need to come with your weed whacker. You need to help us. And just to see that, you know, it's fun enough that young adults are even happy enough to tell their their friends, hey, we should go to the moms. You know, us as young moms should go to the Rappahannock Education Farm and help out with my mom. And, you know, it can keep going.
And Rich, I had a conversation on Saturday with you with these young people, and one of them asked if they could bring their JROTC group out and wanted to do things. And so just the fact that you, like January said, you have young people there that are thinking, hey, I want to, you know, bring other people here.
Yeah, no, it's totally awesome. Anyone who wants to bring their group out, you know, I always say yes. The food bank sometimes calls me and says, you know, listen, we got this group of 30 people. We really can't use them now. Can you use them? My answer is yes. We always, like you said, there's a lot of weeding to be done. We do a lot of planting, a lot of harvesting, and we really, really need volunteers. We appreciate them. We respect them. And so, yeah, anyone who wants to volunteer, we're the place for you.
Well, and that's, I guess, the thing. To be able to donate the number of pounds that you've set goals for requires you've got to plant it and then you've got to harvest it.
Yes.
And then weeding along the way. I never even thought of weeding, but you look at that field, and I have not seen so many weeds come up, and you got to handle that.
There's a saying that there are 3 W's you got to watch out for: weeds, wildlife, and water. And so, so we're focusing on all 3. On the water, we have irrigation now, but sometimes you get too much water. So there's that. On the weeds, you know, it's continual, and on the wildlife, we put up a deer fence. But now we have small critters that are taking bites of our tomatoes.
I've seen that.
And so we're starting now to, you know, pick them as soon as they have a blush of red and let them ripen. And the food bank likes them that way anyway. They have a better shelf life. But yeah, those are the things you got to watch out for. And volunteers really help.
You were going to jump in there.
I was going to say, yeah, I remember when Rich had me on water duty one day. On the far right end of the farm up top when we were doing the beans and everything one day. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like trying to pull the water hose across.
Yeah.
But definitely there's always something that we can do out there.
Barbara, did you ever, because you talked about being retired and you had your life, you were in your routine, and this, to me, there are times here when I know that there's volunteering going during the course of a weekend. If it's in the morning, I'll think, I'm just looking at the wall, these inside walls, and I think I'd rather be outside and taking pictures of what's going on at the education farm.
Absolutely. You can get out nice and early in the morning before it gets too hot, because you know, a lot of folks don't like to be out when it's hot and the sun's just broiling on you. But Rich has the hours set so you can show up nice and early in the morning. Like he says, you can stay for a half hour, you can stay for an hour, you can stay for the whole time, you can sometimes even stay past the time if you want. You can show up late. You make it conducive to your schedule. Like I have sometimes morning commitments, so I can't make it. There's no pressure from the farm that you have to be here. You have to do a certain amount of hours. You show up when you can show up and do what you can do. In fact, they are always professing, don't overdo, don't burn yourself out,
Right.
please. You know, if you need to take a break, take a break. Rich is walking around with
Oh,
water
yes.
and snacks. Please take a break. Please have an orange. So
His
I mean,
wife makes great cookies.
Oh,
Yeah, she
does.
does.
She does.
She does make the best cookies.
Yes. So, I mean, they make the experience not only enjoyable, but doable. So it's doable for you as a regular layperson. Like January says, you can walk in there and not know a thing. Say, I don't know a thing. I'm just here because it looked like I just want to be outside. And we'll show you what to do. And we won't overtask you if you don't want to be overtasked. Now, if you want to work out, we'll give you a workout. But if you want to do some laid back things, we have that too.
And how exciting is it when, especially at the end of the day, or as things are being collected now, to see those containers filled with the potatoes or the tomatoes or the
Yes.
kale,
The
whatever.
cabbage was amazingly pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they really were. They really were.
The cucumbers were pretty.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's pretty because I serve on the board. I'm saying it's pretty because the volunteers do such amazing jobs of making sure like you said, from beginning to inception of harvesting, that the whole process is just streamlined so that we're getting great quality products.
And it's all going to the food bank. You've also done the table.
Yes.
And the serve has gotten
Yes.
some food.
Yes, everything we do gets donated to alleviate hunger and food insecurity, mostly to the food bank. They're the main entity in this area, so pantries get food from them. The food bank distributes fresh food directly, but definitely to other groups as well. The free fridge at Downtown Greens.
Fridge, yeah.
Yeah, so we just get it out there and make sure that it gets used. Barb has sometimes taken the produce. The table meets once a week from noon to 12 at Market Square, and Barb sometimes will take what we have around 11 o'clock and race over there and bring it in, and so that it's ready when the people are there to get
Yeah.
it, so it's great.
Boy, and to be able to do that and see, Barb, the
Well,
looks on their faces, boy.
Oh yeah, people are so grateful when you show up at something like that, whether it be the food bank or even the serve truck comes, even just the volunteers driving the serve trucks, like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Because it is amazing the amount of produce that comes out of those gardens. That amazes me, the amount of kale that we took out in the fall, and oh my gosh, it just amazes me the amount of produce that comes out.
And to be able to give that to people to supplement what they're getting.
Yep, and
That
they love
it's
it.
fresh food.
They love it, and I think it's the table. They actually do a fresh meal there, so they take a lot of the cabbage and they'll shred it up and make coleslaw. So a lot of the places
wow.
actually make the meals there. So they're using that produce to make food for people, and then if there's extras, they give it to the folks as they leave. So yeah, it's wonderful.
RappahannockFarm.org, again, the website for Rappahannock Education Farm. Rich, January, and Barb here this morning. So, big plans still for the property as you expand. And one of the great things, just last week, the Lions Club with a over $30,000 donation to help you build a barn.
Yes, we're real excited about that. We really need a barn. Our neighbor has been generous enough to let us use an old barn. It's not really adequate to our needs, but we're grateful that we've been able to use it. So one of our goals for this year is to get a barn in place. The Lions really stepped up, and they did a bunch of fundraising, and they have raised over $30,000. They gave us a check last Friday at our board meeting. And so we will have a steel barn. We have Sabina Wiseman, who's an architect who's been working on the design of the building along with other people, and Sally Harmon, who's a landscape architect who's been working on the positioning of the building. So we've got kind of the place where the building is going to go. It's going to be in the upper field, kind of where the porta-john is now.
Yeah.
And so it'll be a steel building. We've done the pricing on a steel building. It's way cheaper than a wood building. We really can't afford a wood building, but it'll be a good barn. We really need a barn for 3 reasons. 1, a place to store equipment and tools. 2, a place to bring produce from the time we harvest it till the time we donate it. In the summer months, things can get really hot. And then a place where, when the weather is not good, we can hold educational classes. So we're excited to have that. We hope to have the barn in place by the end of September. That's
Boy.
kind of our goal.
What a great thing that'll be, though.
Yeah, it'll be a
for,
great thing.
Just
Yeah.
for all the reasons you talked about.
Yes.
But especially the classes part, because
Yes.
or if it's just to be able to teach people.
Yes, we really we're planning on having an educational curriculum, like a once a month kind of deal to begin
Okay.
with. The Fauquier Education Farm, which is a great nonprofit farm in Fauquier County, about 45 minutes from here, up Route 17, they have a Growers Academy. So every week or every other week they hold a class. I've been attending some of those. Our goal for next year is to do something like that. But we're walking before we run.
Yeah.
One step at a time. We've done some classes. Liz Bertoli, one of our great volunteers who's a master gardener, has done some classes on starting a home garden. We've done classes on composting. We'll do more of that kind of stuff. The bond will give us some additional opportunities to do that.
You mentioned a tractor, and I go back to when I first the first stories I did on the Rappahannock Education Farm were over at the food bank, and you were pulling up the turf, and Andy was on the tractor, and I generally only see Andy on the tractor, and we have talked very little over the time, but I see him all the time. We wave at each other.
Yeah.
He is one dedicated volunteer.
Yes,
Andy is a terrific volunteer. Andy and Sean are really
Sean,
the two,
same thing.
Yeah, they're the two people who really. We have two tractors, one from the 1940s, one from the 1970s, and they're not adequate for our needs. But we're hopeful to be able to get a more updated tractor that has a front end loader and has all the kinds of things we need. All those things will help us with scale. Will help us to expand. So we've been focusing on infrastructure. As we said earlier, we have a well now. We have a deer fence in the back of our property. Amazon and HIT and J.B. Klein volunteered to put a deer fence around the rest of our property. That's now in place. We have Andy Stone, who put in a parking lot for us. We've had lots of volunteers and organizations who have come forward, and they've done great things, at very little or no cost to us. So we greatly appreciate all of them.
Well, I thought when the deer fence went up, I thought, problem solved. You've taken care of things.
Yeah.
Not thinking that there are other animals that can get
Yeah.
through that fence or can go under the fence
Yeah.
and get involved in things. So
Yeah.
like you said, there's always something you're learning.
There's always something. So with the tomatoes, that's the one crop we've had some animal problems with. Whether it's rabbits or squirrels or groundhogs, they come and they'll take one bite out of 30 tomatoes. And it's infuriating. We're not growing it for them, I've sent them a press release and not reading it. So what we started doing with tomatoes is the minute there's a little bit of red or like a blush of red, we'll pick the tomatoes. They ripen. I've read that they have the same taste as they otherwise would have. They call it the myth of the vine ripened tomato. That people think if you pick the tomato, it's vine ripe, and you bite right into it, there's nothing like it in the world. And I subscribe to that myth. But the groundhogs also do. and they like to, so we're doing that. And so we're really cutting down on the amount of loss that we're having there. But it's just something we got to pay attention to. We've had some little holes in the fence that we know rabbits can get through, so we're always kind of zip tying those together.
Yeah.
But if we didn't have a deer fence, there wouldn't be much of a garden there at all. So we're grateful we have the deer fence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick break. We're going to wrap this up this morning. What good conversation on the Rappahannock Education Farm with Barb January and Rich, RappahannockEducationFarm.org, or you can email them at RappahannockEducationFarm@gmail.com. Quick break, and we'll conclude this morning on News Talk 1230 WFVA.
This is Town Talk on News Talk 1230 WFVA. Hear the show anytime by subscribing to the Town Talk podcast on your favorite podcast platform. And now, here's your host, Ted Schubel.
It is a Rappahannock Education Farm this morning. Great stuff with Barb January and Rich. RappahannockEducationFarm.org is how you can get it, how you can learn more. And like we said, Rich, whether it's volunteering, whether it's financial, you may be a business that can get involved.
Yes.
A lot of ways to get involved, or just be able to go out and volunteer when you can.
Absolutely, and some businesses have come out and they've brought a group of volunteers with them. Verizon did that. We had to put lime on our fields, and we had about 35 Verizon employees, and they put the lime on our fields. So, and we've had people from Geico, and we've had people from Amazon, and we've had employees from different companies come out. So if you're with a company that's interested in having a bonding experience for employees, no better place than to come out in the Rappahannock Education Farm, do meaningful work, and have a chance for employees to get to know each other outside of the office.
Yeah, and Barbara, we talked about this a little bit earlier about the fact you just feel good about no matter what you do, and maybe all you can do is hand out water, but maybe you can go and you can weed. Whatever you do, at whatever level you're really helping the community.
Yeah, I mean, it's something bigger than you. You know, You just show up. That's all you have to do, with no expectations of what am I going to do once I get there. Just show up. And if you don't do anything physical, that's fine. If you do something physical, that's great. But just show up. Check us out. It doesn't hurt to come out and see what's going on.
And all ages January, we've talked about it. All ages will have a great time, and you're outside.
Definitely all ages. I mean, my mom's in her late 60s. She's finding things to do out there. Things, fortunately for us, packs of beans aren't heavy. So if you're just wanting to plant some beans, or if you're just wanting to walk the lanes and just learn, what are we planting? Why are we planting this at this time of year? What is the benefit for us planting cucumbers at one point of the year and kale at another time of the year? If you just want to learn and not necessarily put your hands in the dirt. But I'll tell you, my favorite thing is I get to play in the dirt. When we were kids, we were always told we could not play in the dirt.
Now you can.
I can play in the dirt.
Rich wants you to.
Rich allows me to go play in the dirt.
Yeah. And I've had some people tell me that there's some evidence that when you put your hands in the dirt, it's like, earthing, they call it. And it's good for mental health. It's good for emotional well-being. So the Rappahannock Education Farm is good for your mental well-being.
It really is. And the other thing that I have noticed, and all I do is walk around and take pictures when I'm there. And one of these times I'm going to go put the camera in the car, and I'm going to walk back, Rich, and I'm going to say, okay, put me to work. I'll go weed or something like that.
Well, this morning, it's funny you should mention that. This morning at 10 a.m., we're going to be harvesting green beans, Ted. And this could be your opportunity.
That sounds like a lot of work.
No, it's a lot of fun. You can only pick one, even one green bean.
Yeah, I've got to do something. Just the conversations I hear though with people, and I have heard. I can't tell you how many conversations I've heard from people who are retired government employees or people that are getting ready to retire, talking to younger people and kind of giving them strategies on careers and things, those kind of conversations take place.
There's a lot of conversations like that. It's very interesting. I've noticed the same thing. People seem to really open up out there. People who have met each other for the first time will just open up about amazing aspects of their life and problems that they have, achievements that they've gotten, desires that they have, and they'll really talk to each other. I've seen that repeatedly. I saw one young kid who's 15 years old talking to a lady who was probably in her early 30s, and she was giving him some really good advice about what classes to take and what direction he might look at in his career, and he was asking her and listening, and those kinds of relationships get built. It's kind of maybe the atmosphere that it's an open place. We're working together, hands in the dirt, picking things, planting things, and it kind of lets people, kind of be open.
Yeah.
RappahannockEducationFarm.org or RappahannockEducationFarm@gmail.com. And again, you every week set up a time and
Yes.
for volunteering and all to helping feed the community ultimately.
Yes, everything we grow, we donate to reduce hunger and food insecurity.
Rich, January, and Barb, thank you so much. Thank you for your involvement in all of this, and we will get back and talk much more in the days ahead, and just encourage the community. Get involved financially, volunteering, find a way.
Ted, thank you so much, and thank you for covering the farm. Thank you for coming out so often. We love and appreciate you.
It's a great story. Thanks, Rich. Rappahannock Education Farm at gmail.com or rappahannockfarm.org. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. See you in the morning.
Thanks for listening to Town Talk on News Talk 1230 WFVA. The views expressed by the host and guests on this program are their own and not necessarily those of this station, its management, or Centennial Broadcasting. Hear the show anytime by subscribing to the Town Talk podcast on your favorite podcast platform. The Glenn Beck program is next on News Talk 1230 WFVA, focused on Fredericksburg.